So winter is well and truly here, and with it the necessity of me continuing to train for my sub 40 10k in these dark evenings. So I'm going to take you through this week's speed session as I aim to run 39 minutes at the Wilmslow 10k on the 24th of November, and failing that 39 minutes for 10k at the Telford 10k. So come and join me and Dawn and our friend Jill on this week's speed work. So the current structure of training is to do one speed session in the week, either on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, and then one faster run at the weekend, which recently has been a park run. So 2 mile warm up, and then we're ready to get going into the Tuesday night session. So tonight is Workout Tuesday. We are using an undulating loop of just under 1 kilometre we have, because we live in a town with not many runnable routes in the dark in winter. So it's also good to get elevation in, as I'll talk about later. 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, with 1 minute between each jog recovery. So need to be careful that we don't set off too quickly on the 4 minutes. Goal effort is around half marathon pace and cut down to 10k, 5k, 3k. So the route we're doing this session on is just under 1 kilometre long. There are some climbs in it, not massive ones, but enough just to keep your running style varied. There are also 1 or 2 sharp turns, and as you'll see during the course of the session, there's a little bit of dodging and weaving to be done. Now, we live in quite a small Pennine market town, and really there is nowhere else for us to do our sessions which will have some lighting in. There, we just passed a wheelie bin there. Yeah, which will have some street lighting for the predominant part of the course, and we won't be crossing many roads. So it's rush hour. You can see plenty of traffic returning to our town. You can also see that the pavements are largely flat. There's a little bit of a slope there. So you are conscious in the dark when you're trying to run flat out at sort of 5k pace, 10k pace, even 1 mile pace. You can't always fling yourself around at the same speed as you might do on a track or on a flat bit of trail. In summer, we like to do our sessions on the Trans-Pennine Trail. We've seen plenty of those in the past, but it's really just not feasible in the pitch black to do sessions on there, even with a head torch. As I say, this is the best fit for our sessions. Last week on the very same loop, we did a session of 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. So this week we're doing the same amount of volume. Last week it was 10 times 2 minutes for 20 minutes total, and today the 4's down to the 1's and the 1 back up to the 4. Again, totals 20 minutes. On this occasion we're getting just 7 minutes recovery total time, whereas last week it was 9 minutes. So it'll be well done to anybody who can run a faster pace this week than they could last week. So we're just coming up to the second left-hand bend on this course. As you can see, it's a little bit of a blind one. You've also got traffic lights there. We're just passing Indian restaurant and takeaway on the left, and then we're going to take another slight left into a quieter road where there are bollards. So although there may be traffic sometimes on this road, there isn't generally. So I'm running on the pavement at the minute, but you can see up front there's a couple of pedestrians, so I have to shimmy around onto the road, checking there's no traffic, and then run along to where the bollards actually block off this road, so I should be meeting no traffic coming head on in my direction. So I'm currently still on the first 4 minute section, which I said should be about half marathon pace. Now I should have said half marathon effort really. For me that would be around 6:50. That's my target half marathon pace for a sub 1:30 when I eventually get to do one. But given the fact that it's dark, it's hard to run flat out, and we've got a few climbs and twists and turns, I'll be happy with anything around 7 minute miling for this. We'll just see the bollards coming up in a minute in front of us. We don't run through those, we take a left and we go back down to the area where we actually started the session. I think I've just finished my first 4 minutes. And my chorus told me afterwards I'd run it at 7:05 pace, but actually the effort pace, which is taking into account the hills, I was at 6:47 effort pace, which is bang on what I want to run a half marathon in. So we've ticked off the first 4 minutes at an okay pace. Let's roll on and see if we can hit around 10k pace or 10k effort for the 3 minute section. That's about to come up. So going slightly downhill now, so I'm not getting the advantage of that slight downhill. And we're just heading for a gate at the bottom of this path, which is where we started the session, where I'm going to swing a right and start all over again. So just negotiate our way through this gate, making sure we don't run into it, and now we're on a little flat and going to climb slightly, and we are into the first 3-minute section, and we're back on the route that you saw us start on. Just going through a little section here which is pitch black and not the best, but then we emerge into some light. And then we swing the sharp left onto the main Barnsley Road, and there appears to be a little less traffic now, so the rush hour back into Penistone seems to be receding a little bit. Now, I'm trying to run fast downhill. My body mechanics aren't the best at running downhill, so I am trying to get a natural flow to my running here, whilst being mindful of the conditions underfoot, not tripping on any stone or any rock that might be there. So I'd be interested to know from you viewers out there, what do you do for winter training? Have you got any go-to loops in the town or city where you live? As I say, we live in quite a small town, so we're possibly luckier than people who live in a village. We do have this lit loop, but maybe not as fortunate as people who live in cities and have a greater variety of loops to choose from. Also, if you are out on these dark winter nights doing your speed sessions, do you like to meet up with people like we've met up with a friend? Do you prefer to do them perhaps in a larger group at a club? This is our club night actually, but it didn't start like an hour and a quarter after we'd done our run, and just timing and logistics wise it's easier to get the run done early doors, and it's nice to have a friend willing to do it at the same time as we are. So as you can see, the effort pace has remained the same for the 3 minutes as the 4 minutes. That's the 4 and the 3 done. As you can see, it's not everybody's idea of a rave run. It's a Tuesday night after work, but we're getting it done, aren't we? And that's what matters. Annoying when you turn up to a race and it's on the start line. You've been out there on these evenings and you put the work in. I think all 3 of us out tonight would much prefer to have done this run in daylight, but we all work full-time jobs and therefore this is a necessity, being out there in the dark in the evening. Just coming past another impediment there, a couple out walking the dog, have to squeeze around them. And our car to dodge, as you'll have seen earlier in the video during the warm-up, we are all wearing high-vis. As you can see on this 2-minute effort, which is meant to be around 5k pace, probably about 6:20, we are getting an effort pace of 6:57, so struggling a bit. I think it's due to the fact I raced a flat out 5k at Selby Park Run last weekend, just 3 days before doing this session, and then a long 15 miler on the Sunday, so maybe legs not able to hit those top notes. Again, in this 1 minute, we should be around low 6s for effort, around 6:42. But never mind, we'll put in the work in and hopefully should reap the rewards of what effort we are putting in come race day. So as I've been running now for about 30 minutes in an anti-clockwise direction, I employed a little hack I do when we're doing sort of 6 laps of this route, and I turn and run in a clockwise direction, being mindful of Dawn and Jill coming in the opposite direction. So little note here on elevation. We've deliberately chosen this route not just because it's one of the few that we can use that is reasonably safe in the town we live in, but we're also trying to work on getting in more elevation. During the summer we do much of our training on the relatively flat Transpennine Trail. Well, it's flat old railway line, there's Dawn passing by there. And so we're just thinking on some of our easier runs as well as our sessions in the winter. Hi Jill, yeah, having time of her life. We are going to try and get a little more elevation in, and this was shown when the results finally came through on Strava. Now we can see that artificial intelligence agrees. So either turned round to reverse this course when it is actually tougher going in the opposite direction for some reason. Well, I'm wanting not to over strain the left side of my body by taking all the tight corners and turns on the left leg. As I said, it's a trick that I do at the track. If I'm doing a long session, I'll alternate the direction in which I'm running, so I thought I'd do so here. I'm a little sceptical of this next set of numbers. There was a long drag here. I would doubt it was 7:03 effort, but you know, I put the effort in, I'll get the rewards no matter what the watch says on this occasion. And then we have a sharp right turn, and my least favourite bit of the course where we have to go down a hill and the little dark patch. And then a scooter and another car with full beam headlights to negotiate. So there goes a murky Dawn passing by, and in a minute a slightly less murky Jill going the opposite direction. Now I'm sometimes asked who my favourite runners are of all time, and the default I always give is Ron Hill. And this run for me encapsulates why I always go for him, because he was an ordinary fella who held down a full-time job and did his training before and after work. Yeah, I would love to have the lifestyle where we can run in the day, we can sleep these magical 8 hours that we keep getting told are necessary, but the reality is when you have a full-time job and work for a living in something that isn't running, you have to get out there in the dark nights, pounding the roads and the hills like Ron Hill did around Manchester in the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, in fact all the way through to his death a few years ago, and we're doing the same. So to me, we're following the steps of the true great runners, the people who hold down a job, who live a real life with all the pressures that brings and still get their running done no matter what. As you can see, it's not sexy, it's not alluring, but we're all getting the job done. Although we do hugely admire the people making a living out of running, it's a tough job where everything has to go absolutely right, but it's just a case of relatability to me. Definitely sluggish city tonight, but I'm not concentrating on what the numbers are saying. It's getting the work done, really. Trip it over twigs, and you know, it'll all be good in the long run. So we've done 1 and 2 on the second set, we're now into number 3 in a minute. Runner coming this way. Say hello. So another fun card to negotiate my way around on this 3-minute section. I think the phrase we're looking at tonight is a solid effort. Right, last recovery jog. We've got 4 minutes, which I calculate if I go around that way, should start finish where we started, where my kit is. Tough tonight. One of those ones you just have to get done and bank. So I've negotiated the traffic and all the impediments safely. What could possibly go wrong for the rest of this session? Yes, that's the sound of me turning my ankle on a slope bit of pavement. I had a bruised feeling at first, carried on with the final rep because I wanted to complete the session. As it happened, no lasting damage, a bit of soreness the next day, but survived that falling over. So it's closing out the session here, passing Jill as she finishes 2, and that's probably my best effort of the night. I think in retrospect I did far better on the longer reps than the shorter ones. Just going to get to top speed, probably feeling the effects of that full send park run at the weekend. So let's go back and see how everybody else did. That's the main bit of the session done. Look at the numbers later. Obviously some effort went into it. It's probably a bit too soon after doing a full send flat park run on Saturday, but you know, you got a job in the real world, you need to keep these sessions up and running when you can.
But the Indian restaurant, on that broken bit, there's a bit there.
Oh, did you go over?
Yeah.
I did, but I did it live on camera. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So how was it then, ladies?
Well, I'll be polite. It's good to do a structured session. It's hard in the dark.
Yeah.
For sure, hard in the dark. It is. But it's just it's that mental strength of finishing. Yes. You want to stop, but you know you've just got to dig deep sometimes. So yeah, all in all, pleased with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you?
Yeah, it's similar because the first couple are fine, But as you go further into the session, yeah, mentally you're telling yourself you want to stop, but every extra one you do, you're pleased you've done it, and then you just go to the next one. I mean, it's really good that we've done it.
Yeah, it beats not being out here, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Sat on your sofa watching running YouTube.
Exactly. Now we've got 4 strides to do.
Uphill.
And the helicopter to light our way.
So we reckon that's the pace, please. Helicopter. Gonna have a go at us. We're not running hard enough. Come on then.
Go.
I only did that so I could get you on camera. Oh, yeah. It's Paula.
Alright, the same. You have to hold it.
So well done to both Jill and Dawn, who not only ran so hard that they set off the alarms on their Garmins, but also on the 20 minutes worth of effort, both ran on average about 15 seconds quicker than the previous week on the 10x2. So well done both of them, and thanks both for joining me on this tough session. When you're in a group, it does make these dark winter training runs so much easier. So I hope you've enjoyed joining us for the latest in my Project 39 series. If you have, please give this video a like, and please consider subscribing if you'd like to see the rest of my journey and whether I actually end up with a 39XX 10k to my name. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.